April 1945, Tokyo Bay. A freighter glides across a calm, moonlit sea. The air is still. No contrails above, no submarine periscope below. Just the steady pulse of engines and the thought of home. Then, clang. A dull thud. Steel buckles, seawater rushes in, and the ship founders within minutes. Yet no bombers were overhead. No torpedoes approached. Its killer had been waiting in silence weeks before, on the seabed. This was Operation Starvation, the Allied aerial mining campaign that transformed Japan's harbours and straits into invisible killing grounds. It throttled the shipping lifelines of an island empire. While the world remembers the firebombing of Tokyo and the atomic blasts, this quiet campaign may have been the most efficient use of air power in the Pacific War. Japan's economy depended on the sea, oil from the south, rice and foodstuffs, coal, ores, spare parts. By 1944, planners asked a brutal question. What if, instead of only burning cities, we simply strangled the lanes of supply? The answer fell from B-29s at night. Mines fitted with magnetic, acoustic, and pressure fuses. They drifted into shipping routes, armed themselves, and waited. For America, it promised fewer casualties. For Japan, it meant an empire starving at anchor. Operation Starvation, the naval war nobody saw. The Royal Air Force had dabbled with aerial mining in European waters, but the Pacific demanded something bigger. In early 1945, General Curtis LeMay reassigned the B-29s of the 313th Bombardment Wing from burning cities to mining seas. On Tinian, Mine Assembly Depot No. 4 armed thousands of mines for rapid missions. Crews studied not just headings and altitudes, but tides, currents, and merchant traffic. They learned how colliers hug channels, how rice freighters cut corners, how harbour pilots favoured one side of a bay. The first mission came on March 27, 1945. The target, the Shimonoseki Strait, the narrow artery between Honshu and Kyushu. Cork that bottle, and the inland sea would choke. Within days, traffic slowed. Within weeks, whole patterns of life in Japan's maritime heartland began to change. What looked simple on paper was a delicate dance of low altitude, flying, precise timing, and nighttime navigation. Mines had to splash down in the exact ruts of coastal traffic. Each sortie turned the sea into a place of rumour and dread. On the other side of the strait stood Captain Kyuzo Tamura, the Imperial Navy's mine warfare chief. After the war, he admitted the truth plainly. Mines appeared faster than they could be cleared. Japan's sweepers and gear were hopelessly outpaced. The Allies weren't just attacking ships, they were cutting the arteries of a nation. Each B-29 carried parachute-retarded mines. On splashdown, they armed themselves. Some sensed the pull of steel with magnetic fuses. Others listened for propeller noise with acoustic triggers. Still others waited for the pressure wave of a passing hull. By mixing fuses, fields became unpredictable. Sweepers never knew which defense would work. Crews tried steel wires, noise generators, even sending swimmers into dark waters. But doubt is its own weapon. For airmen used to fire raids, mining felt uncanny. No city glow, no storms of flak, just black sea, red cockpit lights, and the thunk of mines sliding away. The danger was subtler. Navigation errors, sudden searchlights, or the simple terror of flying low over water at night. The campaign unfolded in phases. First the Shimonoseki Strait, then the lanes feeding Kobe and Osaka, then the harbours of northwest Honshu and Kyushu. By June and July, major bays were layered with minefields, leaving Japan's shipping with no good options. The Strategic Bombing Survey later measured destruction per ton of ordnance. Aerial mining outperformed conventional bombing in shipping losses. Quiet, cheap, and devastating. And the mines would do more than sink ships. They would empty bowls. When the counting was done, the Joint Army-Navy Assessment Committee tallied the ruin. Hundreds of ships sunk or crippled by mines, more than 1 million tons of shipping destroyed in mere months. The US Strategic Bombing Survey drew the blunt conclusion: had mining begun earlier, it could have shortened the war. It offered more strategic payoff than city burning, and with far less risk to air crews. Later, the US Naval Institute summed it up in one phrase: Japan's nightmare was the mine blockade. But ledgers and spreadsheets don't feel hunger. As minefields sealed straits and harbours, coastal trade collapsed. Coal shipments slowed, dimming factories and railways. Rice barges vanished, leaving cities with thinner and thinner rations. Fishing fleets risked their lives in mined waters and often paid in blood. By summer 1945, urban diets had fallen towards starvation levels. Relief studies after the war described Tokyo households surviving on watery soups, thin rice portions, and little else. Japanese naval files and interrogation reports painted the same picture. Too few sweepers, not enough gear, new minefields appearing faster than old ones could be cleared. Captain Tamura later said, "Preparations had been inadequate, a measured way of admitting that the sea itself had turned hostile." By July, even before the atomic bombs, Japan was already facing the impossibility of feeding its civilians. Empty bowls spoke as loudly as burning wards. Firebombing gave the world searing images. The atomic bombs gave it unforgettable symbols. A mine gives no spectacle. It waits. It kills in silence, without an audience. And so the story of Operation Starvation slipped into the margins. Professionals tried to correct the record. US Naval Institute essays called the mine blockade Japan's nightmare. Veteran groups recorded phases, targets, and sorties. The Strategic Bombing Survey argued again and again that mining had been decisive and underused. Historians note the impact in simple civilian terms. Mines virtually shut down coastal shipping of coal and food. If strategy is economics by other means, then Operation Starvation was a masterclass. When Japan surrendered, official explanations centered on shock and spectacle. But inside staff studies, the quieter verdict is clear. Aerial mining was the most efficient use of B-29s. Even LeMay, architect of firebombing, admitted as much. Picture the map of Japan between March and August 1945. The Shimonoseki Strait corked. The inland sea harbours webbed. Tokyo Bay seeded. Kobe and Osaka approaches layered with uncertainty. Every port became a gamble. Every meal depended on a captain's roll of the dice. The results were staggering. Hundreds of ships sunk or disabled. Over 1 million tons of shipping lost. Urban calories driven toward malnutrition. Ton for ton, mining outperformed bombing, with fewer American lives risked. Operation Starvation didn't just sink ships. It sank Japan's strategy, the belief that an island empire could fight on when the very sea had turned against it.